seller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, everybody, what's up? It's your girl, Constance Carter. What's happening? I see you all coming on in. Come on in here, have a sit down. Let's talk. So first, I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I decided that I was going to start trying to just have a conversation with people, with my friends, with my family, with the people who follow me, with my YouTube page, with everybody on a daily basis. So now this is a real challenge. Sorry about that. So I don't know if you heard me, but I said, what's up? This is your girl, Constance Carter. And I decided that I was going to start trying to go live every day just to have conversations. I want to have engaging conversations. I want to have engaging conversations. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you guys. I see everybody coming in. Thank you guys for coming in. What I said initially was that I wanted to, I promised myself that I was going to start going live every day because I want to have engaging conversations with my friends, my family, the people who follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And just to kind of let you inside my life and a little bit more about me and the things that I do. And hopefully there's some way that I can help you in some meaningful way. So I'm going to come live every day. I'm a little late today, but I'm going to come live. I'm trying to get my regimen back, but I'm going to come live every day around 11 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So be on the lookout for me. So before we get started, I want to make sure that you're texting the words Queens to 87948. Make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you subscribe to I Am Constance Carter. I'm everywhere on I Am Constance Carter. So as you are watching me today, come on in and just tell me where you're watching from because I would love to shout you out. I love to talk live to you. This is always a dialogue and not a monologue. So I love to speak live to people and love to hear your opinions. But like I said, I want to come live to you every day just to kind of have a conversation, different conversations. We're going to talk about relationships or wealth or real estate or things that I kind of know a little bit about. I just want to share with you and impart on you. And if you want to join me on one of my conversations, I'm happy to have you on. So as you've seen, the topic today is about raising successful sons. And I just wanted to just give you a little bit of background. Thank you. Make sure you share this out to all your friends and all your family because I try to give information I think is going to be of some value to you. Okay, so this is just me talking to you. I'm talking regular, like I talk to everyday regular people. So I want to talk to you about raising successful sons. I have 4 children. And I'm talking all of my children. So I said successful sons, but I'm talking about all of my children. I have 4 children. My daughter's 25, son's 20, my oldest son's 20, 18, and 16. And so just to give you a little bit of background information about me, I haven't always been a single mom raising sons. Today here, as I sit in 2024, I'm a single mom raising sons. And it's been this way since 2020. I've pretty much been a single mom raising sons since 2020. I was married for a very long time. I was with my ex for about 30 years, and we had 4 amazing children. And I will preface it and say the first, part of their lives, their dad was their primary caregiver. So their dad was the one that was taking them to school. He picked them up from school, took them to soccer, made dinner, all of those things while I was out like slaying dragons and working and bringing in the money. When I worked a lot, so I come home, I would always make sure that I was extremely intentional about the time that I spent with my kids because I think that's very important. Just being intentional about how you show up. Okay, so while I wasn't the one that was primarily there, when I was there. Good morning, Z Movo, X Mo. Where are you from? So that was extremely important. In 2020, I got separated, and we finally eventually ended up divorcing in 2022. It took a little bit for us. 2019 we separated. 2022 we divorced, and from that point on, from the point on from separation, it was pretty much all on me. So initially, I was having to try to juggle um, running my business. I built the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. Coming home, making sure the kids were good. I traveled. I spoke all over the place. So that healthy balance. All right. Shout out to Brooklyn. There was a balance. Like, and the thing about, well, it wasn't really a balance. It was a balancing act, trying to balance it all, because some things suffer. So when you have to, do everything and be everything to everybody and be a workaholic, and you're trying to make things happen for your family and for your kids, because the primary purpose of what I did and how I did things was for my kids. And so trying to be everything to everybody, I had to try to balance it all, but sometimes things failed. Sometimes I failed. And I can say, even when they were a lot smaller, just in my effort of being so ambitious, I missed out on some very important dates. My son, I missed out on first days of school sometimes. My youngest son, my baby boy's first birthday, I missed out on his first birthday. I wasn't there for his first birthday. I was at a leadership development meeting for a leadership group that I was a part of. So I missed out on some very important things. And thankfully, their dad was there. And I always give him credit, because in their primary years, the thing that he did, and I would say that the thing that he really did, that I think he really did well, is he made sure that my kids were extremely successful. Not successful, respectful. He made sure my kids were extremely respectful. And you need that yin and that yang. You need that balance between man and a woman. You need to have both there. You need to have the softness of a mother. You need to have the more sternness of a man. That's very necessary in raising healthy children. Unfortunately, at some point, I found myself single, and I found myself a single mother. You could be single, but you don't necessarily have to be a single parent if the other parent is still alive. Unfortunately for me, there was that fracture. And so when we broke up, the father figure, or the father that was in the house, was no longer there active, nor was he present or influential in any way. And so I had to step up. Now, I can never be a dad. I'm a woman. I'm a mom. I can only be the best mom that I could be. And there are those deficits that, that are created when the father is not in the home. Because boys need men. Boys need that masculinity. They need that masculine energy to be able to help them to be able to develop as a man. And when they don't have that, all they have is a softness. I can try to do the best that I can, but I'm only a mom. But I will tell you this. Let me give you a few takeaways, and then I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna be on here before you very long. The takeaways that I want you to know and understand is that, number one, being present is extremely important. No matter how much you got to work, if you only got 20% of time, 50% of time, 15% of time, make sure you give your children 100% of that 25% or that 15% or that 10%, whatever the time that you have with them. So when you come home from work, be present. Let them know that what they're saying is important to you. Let them know that you care about them and about what it is that they're into and about what it is that they're doing. If you have to bother them, my kids are, teenagers and young adults. I bother them. They don't want to be bothered with me. When they were little, they couldn't get away from me. I would be in the bathroom and their hands are under the door. They want to sit on the toilet with me. But when they become teenagers, they no longer want to be bothered with you. But you have to make yourself present for these children. You got to put yourself in a position where they know that you care. So being present, even if you don't have all the time, just giving 100% of the time that you do have. Number two, you got to be advocates for your children, especially in school. One thing that I know that was extremely important for me was that we showed up when they were at school. 70% of Black children are suspended at 70% higher than white children. That's because they have lower tolerance for Black kids. And they tried it with mine, even and especially Black males, right? Because my daughter was the oldest. And when my kids are all well behaved, they're all well mannered. But I'm gonna tell you that the school systems have less tolerance for Black boys than they have for anybody else. That's why they're suspended. That's why they're always recommending ADHD. That's why they're trying to put them in an IEP, because they have no tolerance for Black boys. But as parents, we have to show up for our Black boys. We have to be the ones that advocate. So when my daughter went through, they all went to the same school. My daughter went to school. We kind of got through there with minimal problems from the administration. But by the time my son got into the schools, automatically less tolerance. Now, he's not a bad kid, but what would have to happen is I would have to come up, show my presence, let them know I'm here. So there were many times why I've had to let teachers know and read them their rights and let them know who they could play with and who they couldn't play with. All they need to know is that you're present. When they know that you're present, they're going to treat your children right. So my daughter, she didn't like no smoke. I used to be, let me know if somebody bothering you. I'll be first thing smoking. My oldest son, he let his mama know, mama, and I'll be up there. Now, I didn't do it because I got an auntie that would cuss teachers out about her baby, but her baby was bad. I know my kids. And so I remember with my second son, he was telling us that the teacher prejudice. She don't like me. So I go up to school ready to take off on the teacher. Turns out he was wrong. Right. So he was the one that was acting up. He was the one that wasn't listening and wasn't paying attention and wasn't doing what she told him to do. So we had to discipline him accordingly. So, but I'm always make sure that they know I'm there, that they know that they can't get away with anything. So even if you can't be presently present, say you work and you can't come to parent teacher conferences or they don't know, let them know that you are there so that they know that if anything goes down, mama is going to be available. Just last year, my son was he's a senior. We just moved out here to the DMV area. He was a senior. And what I didn't know, and thank God he had joined the basketball team, what I didn't know was at the end of the semester, they took him out of one class that he was getting an A in, and they put him in another class 1 or 2 weeks before the semester ended, and they gave him a D. And the reason why I found out was because when he went out for basketball, he made the team, but he didn't qualify because of his grades. And they were just going to let it fly and let it slide. And so I looked and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. You put him in this class 2 weeks before it ended. Then you graded him based upon him not being there for the whole semester. And no. So I went and advocated. We appealed it. They denied our appeal. I went up to the higher ups until they gave my baby a B+ because I knew what was right. A lot of times we'll just take what these teachers say and we'll let them, we'll let them roll with it. Well, that could have been the difference of my son being able to get into college. Now he's at Jackson State University, but that could have been the difference. So just a little bit, we just don't always listen to what these teachers have to say. One teacher told me that she thought my son had ADHD. I said, I'll take that under consideration. But I knew he didn't. And it wasn't because I know my baby ain't got ADHD. I just knew he didn't based upon how he behaved at home. Trust me, if there was some kind of issue with my son, I would definitely want to get my children help. So she told me he had ADHD. I said, I'll take it under consideration. So one day she said to him in front of the whole class, when is your mama going to take you to the doctor? When I tell you I lit that teacher on fire. And she walked on eggshells around my baby. Because first of all, it's not up to the teachers to diagnose your children. She can make a recommendation. But the problem with my son is he wasn't bad. He would just get up and walk around because she allowed it. Never had any other issues with any other teachers. She just didn't know how to control her classroom. So what do? The first thing they want to do is they want to medicate our Black sons. Kwanzaa Jungufu, can't pronounce his name right. He has a book called The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. It's a great book because it tells you what they do in the school system to put them in the criminal justice system. They have less tolerance for your Black boys than they have for anybody else. And it's up to us to advocate for them. Number 3, let me tell you a couple of practices that I do. I sit down with my children, and I used to do this all the time when they were younger. I sit down with them as a family, and they hate when we do it now, but I still make them do it. And I talk to them, and I make them tell each other what they love about each other. What do you love about your brother? So we go around the room, and each of those children tell each other and me and their father at the time what they loved about us. And we would do the same. And so it will be just a session of us pouring into each other. It was so beautiful because it allowed them to know how each other felt about each other. And it was such a beautiful, it was beautiful, beautiful moments that I made sure that we did as a family. Certain things we did, we played games together. We would always go on vacation. I would always make sure we went on vacation. But when we didn't, I would be intentional about, hey, let's play a board game. It was like herding cats. They didn't want to do it, but I made sure we did it. And then once we did it, we had lots of laughter and lots of smiles. So just being intentional about making sure that they know how you feel about them. My kids know that they are my everything. They know when in the time of trouble, who gonna come rescue them. They know that mom got it. Yesterday, I'm on the phone all day with one child in his college. Then I'm on the phone with the other child in his college. That's just what we do. So, how do you raise successful Black sons? Letting them know that you're there, even if you're a single mom like myself. Again, like I said, I wasn't always single. They did have a father in their life for a certain portion of their life, but right now he's not present. But when he was, it was great because he was able to put that masculinity. They have that as a foundation. But knowing that you love them, knowing that you're present, making sure that you pour into each other, so it's a reciprocal thing. Because that youngest son, he was always getting bullied by the older two brothers. And so when he heard that his brothers really thought that he was brilliant and thought he was smart and loved how he made everybody laugh, that made him feel better about himself. So when they know amongst themselves how they feel about each other, it's a game changer. The other thing I do with them is I say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate me as a mother? And some of them will say 10, because they love you. They love their mama. Some of them be like 7 because you can't be a 10. Ain't nobody a 10. But if they said a 7, I would say, well, then what do I need to do to get to be a 10? And they will give me honest feedback as a mother, because I don't think that I'm the end all be all, that I know everything, that I'm absolutely perfect as a mom. Absolutely not. What I do know for sure is that there's always room for improvement. What can I do better as a mom for you? And I always explained to my children why I was there, or why I was absent and why I was present. Right. So if I had to go on a business meeting, I would say, hey, are you okay with me going? And they would say, Mom, we know you're doing this for us. So I was very clear. I'm not the type of mom that say, tell them to do something. Why? Because I said so, because I'm the mama and I'm grown and you do it. No, they're people too. So just like it takes just a little bit more energy to treat them like humans, to have dialogue and have conversation. I'm not much on yelling and screaming and hollering at kids. I don't have the energy. I don't have it in me to do it. But but sometimes I do. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes they will get the curse out. Don't get it twisted. But I just try to make sure that they know that I see them. Your kids need to know that you see them. You see who they are. My boys are the oldest two, I'll say, are very self-aware. They're very introspective. We talk about their feelings a lot. Even how they feel about not having, they express to me about not having a male figure in their life. It's painful. It's painful to have had their dad for X amount of years, and now, he's going and he's doing his own thing. It's painful for them. So but how do they show up? And so one of the things that I teach them, of course, therapy is important. But one of the things that I teach them is whatever deficit that both of us have, because I'm not perfect, but whatever deficit that both of us have, the things that you don't like in how we raised you or what we do, is you make sure you do different. In whatever way I lack as a mom, make sure you do different. That's what I did. So my mom wasn't very present. Right. My mom was like, my mom is great now, but she wasn't very present with me growing up. She didn't pay much attention to me. She wasn't really interested in me. She didn't show up at any of my things that I did. I was a very active child. My dad was there up front row, proud. But I vowed that I would not be that way. I vowed that I take my parenting skills and my parenting style from my dad, and the way and how he raised me, and how he was very present, and how when I was little, I remember he answered my questions, even though I rambled on. Kids ask a million questions. He took the time to answer my questions. I remembered that. And I remembered those were the same things that I wanted to do with my children. So how do you raise successful kids? How do you raise successful sons? It's really about being present. My daughter once said, because you listen to me. I asked her a question, why are we so close? She said, because you listen to me. Listening, huge. Taking a moment to listen is huge. So that's how you raise success. Jawanza Kunju. Thank Johnny. Appreciate you, brother. Jawanza Kunjufu. That is a tongue tie. That is a tongue twister for your ass. Jawanza Kunjufu, the conspiracy to destroy Black boys, is a great book, especially if you have sons. And knowing how to deal with them in the system of white supremacy is extremely important. My son last year had an incident. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm gonna show you in a minute. My son last year had an incident with the police. He was coming back from Virginia, and he had an incident with the police. Um, he was just driving his black Lexus, his black on black on black Lexus, and he called me and he said, "Mom, the police pulled me over. I don't even know what I did." He was in Virginia, and I'm in California. So he said, the police pulled me over. I have no idea what I did. And I was like, okay, well, FaceTime me, put me on your lap. Let's see what happens. So all of a sudden, I'm sitting there. We're just chopping it up. About 5 minutes pass by, and all of a sudden, my son's like, I'm sorry. What I do? Tears streaming down his face. The police officer has a gun to his head for no reason. I start recording. This is my son. He's crying. This is after the police officer, I don't know if he was still there or if he walked away. He had no idea of why this man had pulled a gun on him. Oh, yeah. This was right there. For no reason. And having to prepare our children for that is also extremely important. I don't care if they are the most proper, respectful, pants pulled up to their necks. The first thing that people see is that they're Black. And as you can see, this police officer was Black. He was African, actually. And he couldn't find any reason. He had excuse. Oh, because you made a left turn. Oh, because. And he didn't even know I was on the phone. And at the end, he had to let him go because he did nothing wrong. Having those conversations with your kids before they happen. I've had to do that as a mom of Black sons. And the thing that my son said afterwards is, I was so afraid that I was going to get shot right in front of my mom for no reason. And so these are the societal things that we have to deal with, that we have to prepare our children for. And it's unfortunate, but we have to prepare them. But we got to make sure that they're respectable, that they're respectful. Like, my thing was this, son, I just want you to get home. We'll figure all that other shit out later. I just want you to get home. I don't want you talking back to no police officer. I don't need them to you to give them no reason to do anything. Your life is way more important than your principal. We'll figure out all that other shit later. But knowing that, their mom has their back, that I'm going to show up. We have to show up for our kids. And that's a differentiator. I know children have, mental health issues and things, behavioral problems and things like that. But I think when we listen, we're present, we show up for our kids, they know we love them, we're advocating for them, it's a different maker. It makes the difference. So I just want to encourage you, moms, dads of Black sons, and not 4 children, like I said. I want to encourage you just to, show up for your kids in a meaningful way. And that's by listening, and that's all of those things. Here's another picture of me and my kids. That youngest one is the tallest one now. So I'm going to go to the comments and I'm going to get off here. Okay. And then I'll be back on at 1:00 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Fly Nubian Money. So make sure that you tune in, because we're going to be talking about, I forget what we're talking about today. But make sure you also text the word Queens to 87948 if you want to get any notifications. Make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you subscribe to I Am Constance Carter everywhere. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and LinkedIn, and everywhere else. But let me get to your comments. Mel Khan said it can be done if young males are raised in an environment that will not corrupt who they are as a person, especially ways to protect our young men from evils of America failure, especially the young. And that is exactly what I was just talking about, especially with the law enforcement issue, right? Um, put the phone, Johnny. That's what my kids told me. Put the phone down. That's how you could be a good parent. Thank you, and I appreciate you saying beautiful family bonding. Melanie Price said that's an excellent resource for parents. Be1. Thank you. Shout out to Melanie Price. Um, Mimi said, I was always monitoring teachers and scolding an elementary school principal about the bias towards my son. Then things change for the better. We talk about the stuff and the time. Our pain was losing a strong, successful Black male figure. That is, Mimi is actually my aunt. And Travis, I think, was in 6th grade when his father passed away. So I can imagine, and he's such a great young man now. I can imagine um, losing someone, through death that you'll never ever see him again. But losing such a powerful presence, you know, there's you just got to step up, and that's what we do as moms. I was talking to my therapist advisor, spiritual therapist, the other day, and she said to me, she was like, Constance, you got a lot of stress on you. There's a lot going on. You got to relax. And I said, it's the beginning of the school year. I just dropped off one son in college last week. I just dropped off another son in college last night. Got home at 4:00 in the morning. My other son, got to take him shopping. I got to do all the. We just got to show up. I have no choice. I have no choice as a mom but to just show up. Ain't nothing I can do about that. So yeah, I'll have a moment to woosah, and I make sure that for me as a mom, as a single mom who has to look at all of these different things and all these different elements, that I'm taking care of myself, and that when it's time, when I can woosah, I do. But we as mothers, maybe we got to just show up. And that's just who we are. And we do. And we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And that's just what it is. But we just do it. I don't know what Red is saying. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. I'm going to look that up. I think that means God is great. God is great. I don't know what Sobana Allah Wabe Hamde. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to look it up. Thank you I think you are encouraging me. So listen, Dennis, I appreciate you looking at, like I said, I'm going to be on the Fly Nubian Money in a couple of hours, in about an hour. But check this out. I want to invite you. I'm doing a lot of different things in this iteration of my life. I'm so grateful because with my kids, now I'm here. Now they be like, lady, please leave us alone. We don't want to see your face. Go away. But I'm so grateful that I moved across the country, and I am now I'm able to just be here for my kids, take them to school, and pick them up and see them every day. And we clown and we have a good time and we're laughing. And after school is just like a really just high energy time. I love that. I love that. It's the best time ever. But I was able to do that because I had to transition my business. I ended up moving, but I'm also aligned with my purpose, and my purpose is helping people. So I have the Net 7 Collective where I help Black women. I'm also doing something too, because something different. Because for me, as I was evolving and trying to figure out life, and when I moved to the East Coast, I had to figure out what my next was. What is your next? What is the next thing that you want to do? And I fasted for a week. December 2022, I fasted for a week, and I really just journaled. And I did the Project 369, and I had to look internally to see what was it that I really want to do. And so that's how the Net 7 Collective was birthed. And I've been able to help, 60, 70 Black women on their way to becoming 7-figure net worth. That's great. I love the impact. I've been speaking different places all over the country, and I've been hosting workshops. Dr. Boyce Watkins and I have a real estate mastery program where we're helping people to start investing in real estate. That's been really great. The other thing is I'm hosting a weekend of wealth experience out here in the DC area. And that's for people who are trying to figure out what their next is, because I had to do that for myself. I had to figure out what my next is. A lot of people are in their next iteration of their life, where they want to figure out what their next investment is, or what their next career choice is, or maybe they want to start a business and they just don't know how. So I'm having a 2-day workshop / retreat. My retreats are typically $5,000. This is not a $5,000 retreat. This is a couple of $100s. You come, it's a small, intimate group. I don't want a bunch of people. I don't want more than 50 people. but it's going to be a small and intimate group of people who I'm going to be personally pouring into, training, and showing you. And you're going to walk away with actionable steps of what is your next. Because I really want to help people go into the 2025 trying to figure out what their next is. You're going to come kind of maybe having an idea what your next is, but when you leave, you're going to know exactly what my next is and the actionable steps that it takes to get there. So you can, I'm going to put it in the comments. Well, Weekend of Wealth, weekendofwealth.eventbrite.com. You can get your tickets at weekendofwealth.eventbrite.com. weekendofwealth.eventbrite.com. And like I said, and right now it's early bird pricing. I'm going to bring some other folks in that are going to be able to also pour into you as well. So this is for men, women, black, white, boy, girl, whatever. Everybody is invited. And I think we have a few 2-for-1 tickets that are actually available right now. So this is what's next for me, is helping you to discover what's next for you. So that's what I'm doing. And go ahead and take a look at the Weekend of Wealth experience. That it's going to be November 9th and 10th in the DC area. So that's the second week of November. I'll just be coming back from speaking at a conference. So we'll do this 2-day retreat, which is going to be transformational. Today, y'all, my purpose has always been helping people. Help. Today, I am in the business of seeing people's transformation live and in person. That's what I'm doing. So this is me helping you figure out what your next is what we're doing. So weekendofwealth.eventbrite.com is where you get the tickets for that. All right. You're going to see me tomorrow too. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, you're going to see me tomorrow. Listen, I'm going to try to come on here every day. So y'all hold me accountable. If you don't see me on here, send me a DM. Take care and God bless. Follow me everywhere. Peace.